Hey, Moosey. Go to your bed. How you guys doing? How are my peeps of TikTok doing today? Are you guys having a good time? You guys having a good day? You guys enjoying your time here? Or are you guys just doom scrolling? How are you all doing today? My name is Rod. I am an artist. I am an illustrator. I am a person that works and has worked for companies like Marvel and done things for Disney and stuff like that. And today, I happen to be your next teacher. Well, that's kind of cool, huh? Go to your bed. Stop jumping on me. It's work time. All right. So, what would you guys like to learn? We normally just chill here and then I teach you guys how to draw some stuff. So, what is it that you guys would like to learn to draw today? We just started. So there's no being late to my classes. Ponies. We can draw some ponies. But most of the time we're focusing on anatomy. So in this case, let's draw a pony and then we'll go into the back muscles. Sure. So first of all, let's draw a pony. My little pony, my little pony. Let's see, what would my little pony be for us? Maybe make it like fire. Ooh, no, it'd be like ink. It'd probably be like ink, like a paintbrush. Let's see. What little symbol would we have in the back? My ego's too big. I can't not have my face on it. My ego is way too big. And then the upper arms, those are the ones that are like the most fun because this is really interesting muscle, right? You have a shoulder, right, that comes up from the back of your body, right? So it goes up around, then it twists and comes back in, and then it goes back out again, and then onto your hoofs or whatever, yeah? So this muscle structure is super fun to draw because it's like always super like awkward. Since I didn't draw these completely the same, I'm gonna give it a little rock or something that it's gonna be standing on. Lucy, you want the rest of your snack? There you go. No. You can draw ponies. Of course I can draw ponies. I can draw every animal. I worked at the zoo for a very long time. And I worked at SeaWorld for a very long time. And I've just been a very much a nature-loving human being for the majority of my life. So it's like something that I've always liked doing. Recently, I discovered little tips and tricks that allow me to draw any animal I want as long as I understand how their snout works. And that's going to be the catalyst of a class that I'm going to give for 21 Draw. It's going to be how to draw your pets. I'll have to do an extensive animal one for my own academy. But we're gonna do a little animal pets one, which is gonna involve like teaching you guys how to draw really simple conceptual dogs and cats, and just knowing the angles and stuff like that for simplification, so that you can have fun actually drawing your animals, your pets, regardless of whatever type of like styling you want to have them. Sorry about that. Let's see, what would the RODGON pony be? The RODGON pony, well, since I'm bald, it has to have magical, luscious hair, right? And I've always liked Ponyta from like Pokemon, so it's gonna be kind of like fiery, flamey hair. Then from there, let's see. I do like the times where they have like a little white mark in the front. So if I don't know what to do with the rest of it yet, I'm just gonna make a little dark mark around it so I can leave it open-ended right now. The darker parts, I add a little bit more contrast. There. All right, that would be the equivalent of a really quick sketch. If I want to make something look white in a drawing, I have to color the things around it so that it looks white. If I wanted this bottom part to be white, I would have to color everything else around it. So I can use white in my sketches, really easy, but I need to make sure that I understand not to muddy the drawing too much, because the moment that I do this, right, let's just like explore. If I color everything, the mane and the body, if I color it all the same color because I want to make the white belly, that's cool for the belly, but now the rest of the drawing looks kind of like muddy, you know, because there's no contrast. How do we fix that? Well, you fix that by adding darker contrast, not making the hair darker. I want to keep the hair the same color, but I'm just going to add like a little crosshatch or something that is going to separate those elements. It's not a shadow, right? It's not a shadow. It's literally just contrasts lines that you need. It's not anything given by logic. It's literally just something to separate the two tones. You could always add some sort of effect or gradient, especially if it's hair, right? You could just have something like that, but it's the equivalent of doing something like this. When you're drawing something like an eye, right? And you have the colored part, and then you have a shadow on the top, okay? You can't separate that easily, especially if it's a really dark shadow. So what you do, and I'm gonna just draw this in darker tones. Just fill it in black. When you start getting things like this, where they're very, very close together, it's very hard to get contrast, right? So even a slight separation in either color or tone from the top and the bottom will separate that and create a shadow as if it was like a lip. So if I have my line, I have my object, which is my eyelid. If I draw a little tiny change in tone underneath, that gives me the illusion of a shadow. And that shadow is what separates those tones. It makes it look like an eye instead of just a flat little circle. So, when you have that, and you have colored parts, and then you have colored parts right here as well that are supposed to be shadows, how do you separate the two shapes? You don't have to change the color, you just have to add contrast lines. Just a little contrast line. And that's all. That's honestly all you need to do. You don't really need to add a bunch of stuff. Marvin Muralista Peruano invites you to... I'm sorry, I'm not going to do co-host right now. I appreciate that it is people that are following me, so I know it's not gonna be like annoying people. But right now I am in teacher mode, and I don't feel like sharing the spotlight. Sorry. I just feel like teaching and just having a nice afternoon. Hey, oh, Sarah here. Oh, hey, hold on. I haven't seen any messages. Hold on. Oh, shit. She's been here for a while. Hello, Sarah. Sarah is our celebrity tattoo artist here. And every time Sarah comes here, because she is so nice to me, she gets Care Bear because she is Care Bear. So we have been developing this little Care Bear. Like, it started from a little bear eating mochi that's split in half, and then we gave him a witch hat. And now I gave him a robe, I think. Did I give him a robe yet? No, we didn't give him a robe, but we gave him a crow. So now he has a crow and he likes vanilla Coke. So what else should we add to, let's see. From the things that I know about Care Bear. It's probably going to have to be... Oh, wait, we did one with opening a Hirono, didn't we? I thought we did one. Did I draw it somewhere else? I think I drew it somewhere else. Oh, him in a Munchies costume. Okay. All right, so Munchies is my other character, and Munchies is a little demon. I have him tattooed on my arm. It's still healing, but and he is a little demon that eats stuff. He has a little heart on his head, and he has horns. He's like a Highland cow, but he's little. Kind of like the Poros from League of Legends. Kind of like that, but they're... You know, he's much scarier when he gets hungry. All right, so he's gonna have this, and then it's gonna be a hat. So it's gonna be like a little outfit. All right, so there you go. Gonna draw the little nose for the bear, and then we're gonna surround him like if it was a hoodie. It's gonna look like he's eating him, like munching on him. Nom, 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 nom. And then, let's see, we split him in half. And then what type of eyes should we give him? A lot of the times I like to give them like really simple eyes, just like dots, because they're super simple and expressive. But a lot of the times people ask me how these eyes are drawn, right? Like Disney eyes and stuff. Stupidly easy. Stupidly, as a matter of fact, let me find an empty post-it note. We're gonna do simple actually, that's what we should do today. We're gonna do a little bit of eyes because we have a Thursday class where we're gonna do eyes on. We're just gonna do pure eyes, like a whole hour of just eyes. So you guys should go sign up for that one. But if you guys want to learn how to draw really simple Disney eyes, it's not really hard. The concept is just gonna consist of a circle or an oval, right, for your eye shape. And then you're gonna have to learn the consistency of a thick and a thin line. If you divide this in two like a Pokeball, and you draw a thick line at the top, and you leave the bottom one thin, whenever you draw your drawings, your other parts of your eye, which are two more parts, two more circles. The eye consists of three circles. The eyeball, the colored part, and then the black part. I don't know the scientific names for them. That's all they know, okay? So as long as you know that, you know how many parts an eye has. Then the next parts are your eyelids, right? You have two eyelids. You have a thick one, and you have a thin one. The thick one goes over the thin one, kind of like this. So now, since we don't see the rest of the eyeball, what are the rest of these guidelines, right? What are the rest of them? That's your upper eyelid, and that's your lower eyelid. So no lines go lost. So you draw a circle, you draw your eyeball, you draw your curvy line number 1, curvy line number 2, and then this is the rest of your eye. This is your upper eyelid, and this is your lower eyelid. Your eyebrow goes right here. Where that ball hits, that's where your eyebrow hits. And right here, That's where your nose starts going up. And then this matches this angle right here. Right? This is the height of your nose. But this distance is also the size of your nostril. Oh, that's kind of cool, huh? And then you have the middle of your nose. You have the other side of the nose, which is exactly that. And this one leads to your eyebrow. So I already know where everything's supposed to go. This wall, it doesn't just go this way. It's going up, down, up. So it's going to be around here. That's where my other eye starts. Curvy line number 1, curvy line number 2, and 2 more circles. I can draw the entirety of the eyeball because the eyeball ends exactly where the eyebrow starts. So I know exactly where everything is supposed to fall because I know how to draw a circle. So if you want to learn to draw different eyes, it's a matter of just changing the way that you draw that initial shape. If you draw ovals, you can get little overlap shapes like that. So you can draw really cool Disney characters and like animated characters and stuff like that. Okay. Like whatever it is that you guys want to draw, that's the easiest way to do it. Now, things that make it look extra cool is going to be to overlap a line to create the eyelid as well as your eyelash. That's really cool, right? And then if you want to take it an extra step, this upper line can be stylized into whatever shapes you want so that you can create all the styles that you have ever wanted to learn. Then when you're good with that, you can learn to do the same thing with the bottom one. And learning how the breaks from thick, thin, and medium, thick, thin, and medium, and all line width. It's all about the line width. So, profile eyes, one line that's thick, one line that's thin, and the front of your eye, the wall of your eye, you have 3 parts, right? As it turns to this just gets thicker. It goes and it starts getting a little thicker. You still round it out, but now it starts expanding. The same thing with the bottom one. You still see a little bit of the wall of the eye and like 3/4 and stuff. But as it starts getting closer, so you still have 1, 2, 3. But it's just, if it starts getting closer to the front, you start seeing a lot less of that little wall. And you start seeing a lot more of the top and the bottom. Right? When you get to the side view, you only see this line and this line. And you don't see the front anymore because the front is right there looking at you. So that is essentially one of the easiest ways to understand eyes. So whenever you're drawing little eyes like for little bears and stuff like that, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna choose how big do I want the eyes to be. If I want the eyes to be really little, they'll look really cute, but they still start at the same place. Look at where they start, right at the base of the nose. Right at the base of the nose, I can draw one little one, right? And then from that same spot, those 2 lines are already here. This is a closed eye, so this is upper and lower line, okay? This case, I want the eye really big, so I'm gonna draw the eye really big for my upper curve line, the thick one, and then the bottom one just needs to intersect it and go back. Right? Both of them look like they work with each other. It just looks like one of them he's blinking or he's gonna be smiling or smirking. That's all that happens. It looks like there's a different expression. Munchies is a demon that has a tail that's just black, so he's just gonna be dressed in black. He is a proper cosplayer and he knows that less is more. Let's see what side is colored. Again, if I want to make something look white, I have to color the outside. Okay? If I want to make something look like it's a white tone, I have to color the outside of the sketch. Now, the way that you do that is going to be independent. Some people like to just do like little swatches like me. I just like doing little swatches of color. There's no coherence to it. There's no like, well, you have to do a box of blah, blah, blah. No, just draw it around it. If you see two parts that are white, in between, add some color. Like if you see two shapes and they're the same tone, just change the tone. So let's draw like that, right? If that was supposed to be white and that's white, the in between would be changed. And then if I wanted to make these stand out, I would color the outside because the outside's not touching any white. That's, in my brain, that's the math behind it. Right? So whenever you have multiple elements, you have to think, like, how am I going to make that work? Does that work the same way? Yeah. That would work the same way for multiples. Right? So being able to understand that concept but putting it to complex shapes is the more... That's the interesting part. That's the fun part. Oh, he's gonna have a tail because Munchies has a tail. There you go. Drawing Bears 101 with Rod. Oh, we came up with a whole character. His name is Plex. He's part of the RODGON Society. That might be in the name of our comics. That might be the name of our comics. I might call my comic company a RODGON Society. That sounds awesome. RODGON Society Comics. And I like comics like that. I'll just call it RODGON Society. They'll exclude the comics. I like that though. Seems a lot like the sketchbook is almost gills up. Yeah, we're almost done again. We only have like maybe like 20 more pages. This was yesterday. I was just doing my own study sessions, trying to come up with characters based on my face. So I drew my face and I was like, oh, well, if I had hair, what type of hair would I want? And I'd be like, I'd want like Paul Bunyan hair. I'd be so sexy. The world was not ready for that. The world was not ready for Rod with long, luscious hair. So, just saying, it's probably better. It would have been like Genghis Khan over here, populating the whole world. No. You saved me a lot of child support. Thank you, genetics. All right, what were we teaching? And if you guys want to, make sure to hit that like button because it helps me get more people in here. Yeah, it's almost filled. More noses. Okay. Well, the nose is going to be particularly the easiest to learn if you just learn this basic concept about the face. If you are learning to draw faces and imagine that you forgot everything you had to learn about faces. Just forget right now. Just poof, gone. Okay? Don't think about the face with the basic shapes of this. If you do this, you are so hurting yourself. You're making your life 10 times harder. Like 1,000,000 times harder. I promise you that. Okay? When you're drawing your shapes, first of all, let's eliminate this bottom line, okay? We don't do that anymore. So what happens when we eliminate that? we keep the circle, and we keep ourselves the line that goes around, right? So let's do that. Let's keep that. I like that. Why do I like that? Because the head size tends to be very close to the size of your neck. So your actual head is a lot easier to draw than you think. Your ears connect to your chin. So wherever you have your chin, you go bottom of the ear, bottom of the chin. If you need to look up, you look up, bottom of the ear, bottom of the chin. Interesting. The ear rotates a little as you move your head up and down. But it's not very difficult, right? If you stop drawing that. If you just draw a circle and bring down the lines for your neck, right? If you're looking at a profile, all you have to do is draw a little circle about 1/4 of the size of whatever ball you drew right here. Or the equivalent of like an ear. Imagine that you're drawing an ear on the character that you just drew, right? A front view. If it's a front view, imagine you're drawing an ear. That's about the size of your profile. Okay, that's about as much as your head rotates from side to side. And I like to call it the 2.5 rule. Because whatever it is for the front, if you're drawing a character from the front, whatever you have as a front view, about half of that is your profile view. And by doing this, you get yourself 3/4 as well. So it's a very little simple rule that I came up with, and it's incredibly useful and meticulously applied in whenever I'm drawing. I use math a lot in my stuff. Okay? I use math quite a bit. Like I think about how things are divided and then how those divisions can affect what you do. So I think of things in percentages. And then I think of what elements are aligning with what other elements. What happens when I continue those lines? Does that line serve a purpose? In this case, yes. Cool. If I find different paths, does it give me different aspects of my anatomy? It actually really does. You want to know the coolest example of that? Let's start with our head like this, like we did before. Right? Remember, we're not drawing the bottom part of the jaw anymore. Never again are we drawing that bottom part of the jaw anymore. Not until after. So circle, little cylinder down, and maybe you don't want a super thick neck. I'll show you guys how to do that, okay? Draw your ears, draw your circle for your chin, and you go ear, bottom of the chin. No L, no arrow, no being at the top more, no being at the bottom more. A simple curve, okay? Until you get used to what your anatomy is creating all these little lines, do a simple curve. If you need a chin, you just go around your little circle that you draw, and now you have yourself a chin. Okay? Until then, keep it like this. If you need a character that has a smaller neck, all you do is you taper it from here, and you make whatever connecting point circle that you want here, like a little cylinder, just make that smaller. It tapers from the ear. And then you can create characters of all kinds. But you always have that connecting point. Okay? So, wait, what was I going to say? Oh. I forgot what I was going to say. I knew I was going to say something with the face in the front. Totally forgot. Okay, let's just draw, let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, math. Wait, yeah, math. So if you look up and down, your head is going to be divided into very simple parts, right? From a front view, it's more like this. It's two parts divided in the middle, right? And then you have a teardrop right there. If you do that, you have access to your nose and your mouth without any thought. And you also have your chin. Now, you divide everything into 3 because your eyes are going to be about 1/3 of the size of your head. From there, this remaining spot, everything is thought into. This little remainder triangle turns into a flat circle, a little angled circle. That, and as you turn your head around, gets thicker. So as a front view, you have that. As you start turning around, you start getting more and more of a profile, right? Because our heads are curved and they have angles and stuff. So that's how you do that. Big circle, little circle. Little circle, big circle. If you draw a circle from here to the jaw that touches the inside, you also get all the structure you need for your jaw. If you continue these lines in, you get your forehead. And if you just curve the top of the shape, you get the shape of a human. Your ear is going to fall within that second third, and your neck is the one that controls the size of your body, coming from your ear. So you can choose any sort of neck you want. You want a giraffe neck, plastic man, stuff like that, yeah. Or do you want like an actual neck, which is not going to be very long. You're so unbelievably smart. No, I just struggled a lot. I struggled a lot, so I don't like people struggling because why, right? Like, why make you guys struggle when I can teach you guys super simple things? Like, that can help you immensely, right? So let's do the whole looking up like extremes, right? Because, oh no, those are so hard, right? I don't know how to move my face up, right? Okay, so we're gonna do and focus on 2 major components here, okay? A circle and a teardrop that are equally sized. 1-to-1 ratio. This is the bottom of our head. This is the top of our head. We follow the roundness to generate our jaw and the top of our head. It caps out wherever we want the width of our head to be. Simple, right? In between these, this is going to be the space for your nose. So if you divide this into 3, you have the ball of the nose and the 2 nostrils. Again, the rule of 3. Take a teardrop, divide it into 3, choose where you want your nose to be. It could be up here, it could be down here, it could be anywhere you want, okay? And then the size on the side become the side where your nostrils can be. You don't have to fill up the entire space, but it's just a guideline that you can use, right? If you have a teardrop and you divide that into 3/4, you already have all the guidelines you need. That teardrop is a really strong shape. Now, the reason that we draw a circle is for your forehead. So you understand where your forehead goes. Most people focus so much on the eyes, right? They focus so much on drawing the eyes that the eyes become the main focus of every drawing that they do. And they have no idea how to calculate the actual forehead. So most of their drawings will always be eye heavy, right? But when you're supposed to draw something more like a realistic drawing or something like that, those proportions, unless you know how to shift between back and forth, it's going to be really hard for you to do that. You're always going to think, oh my God, I'm drawing the head too big. Oh my God, that doesn't look right. Oh my God. Because you're so focused on drawing in a stylized fashion that you forgot that you have to study how actual humans look. Because drawing real humans is hard. Because it's a lot of subtle lines and subtle curvatures and subtle things that you got to keep in mind. Subtlety. This isn't subtle. This is drawing an extreme drawing is super easy, right? If I stylize something, I can say anything I draw is my style, right? I can't be criticized if all I'm drawing is my style. So I'm just gonna draw my style. Yeah, but a lot of the times that just means that you're limited, right? When you pay attention to, you actually give yourself a heart-to-heart, and you're like, why am I drawing in a certain way? Is it because of limitations or is it because of preference? Right? If I'm drawing because of limitations and that's the only reason I'm drawing like that, it's not because that's my preferred way of drawing. No, I would rather draw like this, but I'm drawing like this because that's what I know now. You already know, then what's the path? You know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to learn more. It's going to be uncomfortable. And sometimes you're not going to get the drawings that you want out of your drawings. And you're going to want to be like, oh, but I can draw so much better with that other style. Cool. A person that wants to be a doctor, but is a really good, I don't know, martial artist, if they keep being a martial artist, they'll never be a doctor, right? I mean, it's a pretty crude, like way of saying it, but that's just it. Like, you have to pursue the things that you want to get to. Otherwise, you're never going to get to them. You have to make baby steps. Baby steps. Little by little. Because if you don't do that, you never get anywhere. You need to match and meet expectations at several points in your career so that you can see yourself on a path. And if you don't do that, then you just kind of fall into the whole spectrum of like, it'll happen one day. One day I'll do it. One day I'll do this. Oh, one day. And then that one day never comes because you never made the plan to do it. You just plan to think about it and dream about it, but you never plan to do it. Baby steps get you everywhere. You just plan to think about it and dream about it, but you never plan to do it. Baby steps get you everywhere. Right? We're constantly just jumping across like projects and doing so many other things that a lot of the times we forget, hey, we actually have to finish some of them. One day or day one. Yeah, pretty much. I like to call it version one. Like, you need to just get version one out. You can always make revisions to version one. Version one of your comic, version one of the drawings of your characters, version one of anything. Right? Understanding version one is going to be incredibly important. So now that we know that a face can be drawn from a circle and a teardrop, okay, what happens if we change the shape of the eye sockets? So let's say that we want a character like that, right? So this would involve our curvature of our head going around until we meet a little bit outside of the actual cheek, and then this one would go around, again, capping wherever we meet. Boop, boop, boop. If I draw different eye sockets, aka let's say I want a character with big eyes, that might be a little different, okay? The eye socket is going to determine the width of your head. So depending on what type of stylization you want to get to, you might want to change the way that the cheekbones work, the cheekbones look, and that is how you use those. But it also gives you the spacing that you need. Now let's say that we want a kid character instead of an adult. So in this case, we drew a teardrop and a circle about equal sized, right? And then the two little wings kind of looks like an angel from the top of a Christmas tree. Okay, so if you draw those shapes inside of any face, any shape, you have an instant face. Circle, teardrop, eye socket, eye socket. Big circle, little circle for general sizing of your head. Split this into three, have my nose, have my mouth, eyebrows, eye, cheekbone, temples, forehead, and the ear matches the bottom of that. But if you have like little, what do you call them? The little earlobes. If you have earlobes, they go below that. Cheekbone, cheekbone. So once you have that inside, you can draw it. Now, that doesn't just work for front views. If it works for any view. Let's draw that, but let's draw a circle and a teardrop on the side. That to the edge, it's gonna be one eye. Just gonna do the exact same shape, not bigger, not smaller, just the exact same shape, just flipped. And then the remainder is that side circle. Interesting, Rod. Interesting. You might be onto something here. You might be saying in your brain. You'll never draw a midline again. You don't need a midline, period. You don't need it at all. Oh, you want a profile? Okay, what happens when you take a front view, right? And you split it in half. You get half of these shapes, right? So let's take half of this, half of that, draw my little arm, and draw my big circle. So, is that hard? This circle is also your neck. So you go in a figure 9 and you can find the back of your neck. You go in a figure 9 in the front, you can find the front of your neck. Connect it at an angle of about 35 to 45 degrees to your body, and you're gonna have yourself the angle to your neck. Math. Circle, figure 9 into a slope. Circle, figure 9. Remember how we started with a circle before? Ta-da! And then we need a big circle, little circle. Connect them with a teardrop. Nose, mouth, chin. Eyebrows, eyeball, cheekbone, and where the eyebrow and this connect, that's your temples. Your neck. Again, your neck can be tapered depending on how you want your neck to be. If you want your neck to be like a big hulky guy. Rawr. Okay. Then whenever you get better, you can just move those shapes around into any direction you want. Oh, you want to move it in a little? Okay, let's move it in a little. Anywhere you move that, because now you're not restrained by that bottom jaw, right? Now it's this. I want to move the head up completely. Okay, I'm going to draw the teardrop, draw my circle, and then my jaw. I am not restricted by the same conceptual rules that the Loomis method constrains you from. This is free form. I can draw in any shape. Any shape I draw, I can draw a teardrop and this and generate myself a face. Anything I draw with that is going to give me a different face if I want to. I just need to fit the same components inside of an element, and I can give myself a different character from that. It's absolutely a game changer for anybody that wants to be a designer. Turtleneck rod. Do I have any tips on poses? I do. But you guys got to get me to 30,000 likes if you guys want me to divulge that information. We're going to be here till 11:30, and then we're going to call it a day. But yeah, if you guys want to learn how to pose things, I am your man. I'm literally your man. I am the man for that shit. I can teach you like maybe 7 different levels of like ways of moving your character. Like, it's kind of cool to have that knowledge, and then to be able to translate that to things like animals and stuff like that now is absolutely epic. Yeah, it comes from knowing a lot of anatomy and a lot of its animation principles. But I'm able to teach it really, really simple. So, yeah. Will this be on YouTube? I still have so many to upload. I totally forget about that. This is why I need an assistant. So many hours of like content just lost to the void and YouTube and TikTok because I forget, right? I get off here and I'm like, oh my God, I did a good job. And then I go and I eat my breakfast and I drink my coffee and then I play with my puppy and then I work out. And then I'm like, oh, it's time for the next stream. And I totally forget. And it's just like, oh, I did good. And then like somebody's like, did you upload that video about that one thing? I'm like, I don't know. And then finding the streams back is a pain in the butt because they're like 2-hour streams, right? Like 2, sometimes 3-hour streams. So it's like having to scroll to see if I already did that one. It's sometimes 6 hours. Yes, you should post them on YouTube, especially if TikTok goes away. Who knows? I don't know anymore. Every single time they like fear monger us with that, right? I'm like, oh, all right, everybody go follow me. You know what? I'm tired of, if they're gonna take it away, just take it away. Just go away. Just leave me alone. Like, if you don't see me here, you'll see me on YouTube, you'll see me on Instagram. I'll post about where I went. The people that do follow me will find me. Right? The people that learn from me, they come back all the time. Like, we have concurrent people. We have about maybe 80 people that come back every single time. And that's why whenever I do get like, I get shadow banned whenever I play music. Like, they told me that on TikTok. They told me that like the people, they're like, yeah, you're getting slightly shadow banned because you play a lot of copyrighted music. And I was like, and you still get more audiences than most people. Then you still get more consistent audiences than most people out there. They're confused. And they were like, because most people don't have consistent audiences, apparently. Especially our channels, apparently they don't have consistent audiences. So seeing that I have it, and they were like wondering why. And I was like, I don't know, it must be entertaining or sing better. They're like, I was like, they're like, no, probably not that. They're trying to do it in a nice way, People are funny. But no, it's because people like coming back here to learn and draw with me. That's why. And I get it. I probably do the same thing. That's the reason I do it. Right? So somebody has somebody to draw with all the time. Like if I was able to get like a grant by the government or something, right? Like, let's say the government of like, I don't know, what's a country that would be like interesting? Like, let's say the Scotland, the UK. Imagine they're like, oh, we'll give you a grant of whatever and a house. You just have to teach people every day for the rest of your life. Fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I will teach people for the rest of my life every day as much as I can every single day. I'll go get master's degrees and teach you guys everything they teach me and shit like that. I would be like the best teacher in the world. The only thing that keeps me from being able to do that is the stability of actually having a place to live in that doesn't get taken away from me every couple of years. That's literally the only reason that I can't do that. It's because of that. Like my life has been just full of like relocations and relocations and relocations, and that fucking sucks. I hate it. It's like the one aspect of my life that I wish just wasn't that. Like everything else is great except for that. Like I just want a forever home, man. I don't want to stop moving around. I don't want to. Like, I don't care where it is. I just want to have stable internet, my puppy, and like a roof that can't be taken away from me. And that's it. If I could make something like that happen, like through government grants or something like that, that'd be so fucking cool. Okay, so tips on body poses. All right, let's do some body poses. So bodies are not as hard as people think. They're not. They have a lot of bumpy parts, and they have a lot of sticky parts, and they have a lot of pokey parts, okay? And nipply parts and stuff like that. There's a bunch of things that happen in a body. But it can be broken down in relative steps that will make it incredibly easy for you to understand. If we want to jump to a full body structure like this, and you don't understand how to do something simple like little ball men. Like if you don't know how to draw little figure nines to create a little outside and then you draw a foot. This is the very first step. It's like a little stick figure, right? But you're doing it with a purpose. You do a figure nine and you learn that your elements come out of your body at a certain angle, a certain flow. Okay? Being able to learn to do that at very simple stages is very important. Learning how each one of the elements goes first is very important. And learning that that changes depending on the angle that you're trying to draw is very important. So doing it at this level is stage one. Stage two is just bringing it back in to the body to allow yourself to have a body that has outside edges, inside for volume. So you go outside edge, inside for volume. And this is where you determine the width of your leg. Okay, so if you want skinny legs, you would draw skinny legs. If you want thick legs, you would draw the volume after. Okay, so this is where you determine that. When you learn that, you can do that 4 times and you have yourself a nice little simple humanoid character that you can move around in different directions. Okay? But don't restrict yourself to just up and down. When you draw these things, you can also draw them inside. So you can draw poses that are coming towards you or away from you. Draw a head in between. Don't draw it too big, just about 1/3 of the size. Okay, 1/3 of the size, you have yourself your head. Ta-da! So now that you can make your characters go inside, and you can draw the lines going outside, you have the ability to draw more complicated things. Okay, the only restriction you're going to have is understanding the perspective of things. And that perspective is taught by just drawing circles. And circle inside of a circle gives you guidelines, gives you a surface, gives you divisions. And then learning how to move even simple dots across your actual character will eventually lead you down the path of understanding that better. Now, when you want to draw more complicated things, you just double these up. So you give your arms their own little thing. You give their legs their own little thing. And now you have another overlapping shape. Right? Now you can move this shape in conjunction with the other one, always like a figure 9, and you have access to learning how to draw and move your character around in different directions. Because the movement doesn't change just because you're drawing more parts. It's actually just, it's just as easy. Right? The legs can also go in any direction, but once we learn about the hip bones, we never have to worry about that ever again. So let's say that you would take these two circles, and now you want to go into anatomy. So now we have two circles, and we learn to draw our characters like this, and we're like, yay, these are really cool, but they have absolutely no anatomy points. Or do they? Do they? They actually do. They already have everything you need. The middle of your crotch, in between your legs, you need a little space for your crotch, so I like to draw a circle. And then wherever the legs touch them with a circle, and that's going to give us the width of the leg. Cool. We drew the head about 1/3 of the size of the rib cage. So now from here to the edge, draw a little compass. And that's going to be your collarbone. That's going to be that bone that goes in the front of your neck, and then later on connects to your ears and your rib cage and stuff like that. Okay? From the edge of wherever these are to about maybe one little circle down from here, that exact circle, just one down, is going to be your pectoral muscles. The rest of your rib cage is the rest of that circle that you drew. Connect that to your hip bones. And the middle of here to where your rib cage starts is where your abs go. So you get a lot of anatomy from just two little circles, if you know how to divide it. The arms, they can start like little cones and then just cut into them. Cut into them so you can generate folds and designs. Don't build on them, cut into. So if you have your hand and you draw your little cone, don't build muscle, cut muscle out of it. Okay? You don't need more, you just need to detail the stuff that you already drew. Okay? A lot of the times overlapping lines will be more than enough to generate things like detail like volume and muscle. So when you start combining all those things, you go one shape, two shapes, hip bones, collarbone, rib cage, connected, and then my legs can be anything I want. So if I want really sexy legs, I can make my legs more like teardrops, so they have thickness for the muscle into the kneecap. Then I draw a straight line to differentiate the shin of my foot. And then I draw my calf muscle behind that. This compass, this inside line always points to the outside of my arm. It will always point to the outside. And you know how we did outside, inside with the initial lines? Outside, then inside for volume. We're going to do the same thing. Do the outside first, inside second. The shoulder is already a given. Just need to overlap two lines going into the rib cage, and if you want more back muscles, you have to add back muscles. Boobs, rib cage, that circle you initially drew. If your rib cage, if you divide it into three, one is going to be your circle for your head. The line dividing the front one is going to be your collarbone. The second one is going to be your pectoral line. So if you have boobs, you draw a little heart from the back of your little shape, and you get yourself a little. So three, a little heart from the back will give you pretty accurate spacing for your boobies. make them bigger or smaller depending on your preference. But yeah, that's about, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, once you know that, it's all about just how you render it. Let's move that down a little bit more. Once you have those concepts, a lot of that is going to be more how you overlap your lines. Because overlapping lines create depth. Okay? Overlapping lines create volume. Learning how you overlap the lines from this point on is going to be a lot more of where all those structures like muscles and... You want to get up? There you go. There you go, buddy. He just wants snacks. He always wants snacks. Lucy only loves me because of the snacks. It's okay, I'm a snacky daddy. I'm the snack daddy. Circle, teardrop. I know it's a different way of just dividing it in half, right? That's essentially it. Like, all you're doing is dividing it in half, but I'm giving you another visual guidelines on top of that. Because if I give you the guideline for the nose immediately, and you don't have to guess the top of the head, aka you know where your eyebrows are going to cap out at, the spacing becomes really simple. But if someone goes like, yeah, just divide it in half. For some reason, without the extra guidelines of the circle and the teardrop, it becomes incredibly more difficult. Right? And again, variation is key. If you change the shape of those, it's going to give you access to different characters of different sizes. Okay? And it's really, Sarah called it the keyhole. The keyhole approach, and I love it. It's like, because it does look like a little keyhole. So we're going to call it the keyhole approach. And the beauty of it is that even profiles are stupidly easy, because half a circle, half a teardrop is very similar to just half a circle. And then whatever eye socket you want, again, it's the same thing. And it gives you access to all the knowledge you need. It's kind of cool. And I'm honestly surprised other people have not come up with this shit. Like, in so many years of people drawing comics and shit, nobody just came up with theories like this. Like, nobody saw a face and was like, oh, well, that kind of does look like a triangle. And then that's your nose. Right? And then you follow the triangle up, and then you get the space between your eyebrows, which is kind of like an hourglass. That's going to be where my eye connects. And that's where my eyebrow starts. Like, I don't know why no one came up with this shit. Like, how is it that no one saw those patterns? I know I'm coming up with this shit on my own, but it's like, how? So many people have studied this shit, and no one, like, maybe they did and they never wrote it down. Maybe they did and they just never shared it with people. But really? Hi, as an artist, what do you think will happen with the future of AI? So you want my honest opinion? My honest opinion is that we just gotta learn to admit that it's gonna be there, and we just have to learn to actually control it a lot more than it's gonna be taking away from us. Just learning how to create with it so that you can just actual benefit too. Like, I'm not saying take people's jobs. I'm not doing that. Okay, don't. It's so funny. A single opinion from, like, I believe it was like, was it like Ross? Like the guy that does like what Ross draws? I think it's that guy. I don't know. I forget his name. But this guy got in so much trouble because he used AI for stuff, right? And then they're like, "Oh my God, how dare he?" The guy doesn't need to use AI. Like, the guy clearly has a lot of skill to be able to do whatever the hell he wants. Why are people demifying him? So essentially, the people that demify people that use something like AI for reference material, right? They're the same people that would give you a hard time for using Pinterest or Photoshop. If you use Pinterest, you are taking someone else's idea and you are using that idea to inspire yourself. Now, if you are using AI to be able to create finished pieces of artwork, you're probably a little piece of shit. Honestly, I don't like that. But I do love the idea of using it as a reference tool. Infinite references exactly how you need the reference to look. Oh, absolutely. Oh, I love that idea. It's like Google on crack. Absolutely. I would definitely use it as a reference tool. I wouldn't use it to finish my artwork because it takes away a little bit of what I like doing. Not because I wouldn't use it for efficiency. I've done logos like that because I didn't want to do logo work. And a client came up to me and they were like, "I want you to do my logo." And I'm like, "I don't want to do the logo." And then they were like, "I want to give you a lot of money." And I'm like, "And I don't want to do the logo." And then I was like, "All right, I'm just going to do your logo." And I used AI for references. And then I did the logo in like 20 minutes. The guy gave me the money. He was happy. And ta-da, done. You use it as a reference tool. It's a fantastic thing. If you use it to steal other people's work and you use it like, "Oh, I'm going to draw a Studio Ghibli thing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take somebody else's specific style of art and then actually do that," then that's a different story, right? All those Studio Ghibli ones, to me, that's just, you're stealing from the actual person because that's a very, 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 very noticeably their style. And now at that point, it does become a matter of issue. Hey, are you an animator besides being an... I don't think... Maybe my internet is low? I don't know. Just a humble fan artisan. And I'm an animator, I'm an illustrator. I have been a production artist. I have been an art director. I have done print, t-shirts, major factory things for like Walmart productions for t-shirts and stuff like that. I have worked in the skating industry. I have worked in manufacturing. I have worked in film. I have worked in actual movie theaters and doing commercials for them and stuff like that as well. I've done a little bit of everything. I was a caricature artist for like 20 years. So a lot of my face drawings and stuff like that come from that. And yeah, overall, I just followed whatever the hell I wanted for most of my life. Like, that's the only caveat that I can say that is probably the coolest out of my whole career, is that I've very rarely taken any jobs that I didn't think were going to benefit me in the long run for what I wanted to achieve. So I take jobs that are going to help me understand that I want to create. Love the RODGON cutie mark too. Yeah. Thank you. So do you recommend just trying to get as many No, I don't recommend that necessarily. The reason that I was able to do that is because I am a very good salesman, right? So whenever I had jobs, I would always have the job of a caricature artist. I would go out every single night to draw people in downtown or somewhere, or a bar or something like that. During my whole initial career, I needed to draw as much as possible. because I didn't have any experience. I didn't have anything. I signed up to art school on a stupid whim, right? Because it made me happy, and I was like, oh, cool, I can compete with people. No. When somebody has 19 years of innate drawing experience, it's very hard as a person that has never drawn before, really, because I was drawing in a little ruled notebook, and I was drawing like little duckies and stuff like that, right? I was drawing the equivalent of like what 10-year-olds draw. And I wanted it so bad because I was like, this makes me happy. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to make this my life because this makes me happy. This makes people smile. Everything else I do makes people cry and makes people mad and sad. This is the only thing that makes people smile. Because I was in martial arts, I was in sports, so if you do good, other people get sad. So that's honestly one of the biggest caveats that always kept me from going and doing more competitive stuff, because I don't like people feeling bad. So I went in and I just signed up for art school. And then in order to catch up to these people that had so many more years, I had to draw more than them. I had to not just draw more than them, I had to draw more than them, and I had to learn more than them. And the one thing that kept me doing it is doing caricatures whenever I went out every single night. I would bring a little whiteboard, not a whiteboard, a little board with a little bit of like a clip or something, a little metal band, and paper, right? Something that I could carry in my hand, something that I could carry that's about arm's length. So if my hand was here, I just want to be able to hold it with one arm and be able to draw with the other, okay? So that was the whole concept. You go out, you just draw random people. You literally just sit there, wait for like drunk people to walk by, or a bar. If you're sitting down in the bar, just start drawing everybody, right? You just draw them and give it to them. Right? You show them their drawing, and then they're like, oh my God, you drew me. Right? And just give it to them. Boop. So drawing, and you give it to them. The moment that you do that, most of the time they'll give you money. People just go like, oh my God, that's awesome. Here, have $5, have $10. When people are drunk, they give you 20s, they give you 30, they give you 40, they give you $50. They send you Venmos, they pay you for your food, they give you a lot of stuff. So I learned to do that when I was younger because I didn't have many resources. But I needed to draw, and I needed to get my self-esteem up. So drawing caricatures was an absolute amazing thing to do because it teaches you that people value what you do. And unless you're purposely trying to draw someone ugly, you're probably not going to draw them as ugly as they actually are, right? Unless you're purposely trying to draw them really silly and really ugly on purpose, they're probably going to love it. And even if you do that on purpose, they will fucking love it. Like about 90% of the time, they'll love it much more than you ever think. So being able to draw caricatures just takes a Sharpie, some paper, and something to hold the paper with. And out of, I don't know, a stack of like $5 for your paper, you'll make about an average of $200. That's about the average that I normally saw in return when it came down to caricatures. And it's incredibly, incredibly good. We might have to make a course on that. I might have to make a course on caricatures just for the school, like an actual how to make money with caricatures course. Because like how to set up your own company for parties and how to set up events, how to get paid. I think that would be an incredibly useful course for people. Because that's how I survived for many years. Aaron Blaze is king at paper animation. Absolutely. I would say Aaron Blaze is one of the best just artists in general right now. He's just really good at most things that need to be done, like from rendering real animals to lighting to animating to movement. The guy is just an absolute delight to look and watch. right? One day, people will put me up in those echelons. Somebody was comparing me to Proco the other day, and I was like, oh shit, what? I was like, really? Interesting. I'm starting to get, like, because I went on Reddit, right? Most of the time, it's a big mistake to go on Reddit and look for yourself. But my ego is like super big, so I Google myself once in a while. And I ended up in a Reddit thread that was like, has anyone graduated from RODGON, the Artist Academy? And then I was reading, and overall, positive, encouraged, like, oh yeah, great, da 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 da. And then someone called me, like, what was it? Like, a doodle garbage doodler, something like that. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? And then, like, yeah, they were like, yeah, he just sketches doodles. He never finishes artwork. And I was like, I was like, what? That's what they think? That's the opinion? I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. And then, like, the thing is, people were defending me and the whole thing, right? They were like, oh, you don't fucking know. He gives art for free. He gives lessons. And I'm like, I have posses that are defending me without me even being present. You know how cool that is? You know how incredibly cool it is to know that, like, there's people defending me when they don't have to? Right? It's like, I fell in love with a girl one day because she said that I was a good person in front of her friends. That's literally the nicest thing that someone has ever said about me in front of people. So I was like, yeah, let's fucking get married type of situation, right? Just because she once said, oh my God, yes, he's a really cool person. When someone said, no, blah, 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 something bad, they were like, nah, fuck you, that alone. And then hearing people literally defending me, it's like, it's super awesome. It's like, oh my God. Like, I must be doing something, right? First of all, if people randomly on Reddit know my name, probably sounds kind of funny, but yay! Right? It's like, awesome! Like, my name is being mentioned regardless of it being good or bad. It's being mentioned in rooms that I'm not in, which is an amazing thing conceptually if you are a content creator. Oh, we're drawing SpongeBob. We're drawing the SpongeBob cast. So I didn't know what Mr. Krabs looked like. Yeah, this is cool. Speaking of coolness, can you battle? I don't know who Battle Beast is. Is that a Transformer? Is that like Optimus Prime, but like the battle bots? I have no idea who Battle Beast is. Like, people mention their characters from what their fandoms are, but they don't really tell who it is from what it is. Like, it's just supposed to be a given. The cool space cat. Oh, that's Battle Beast. The cool, like, Rengar looking motherfucker. Okay, so essentially Rengar. So let's draw Rengar from League of Legends. I think I know kind of what he looks like. So we're gonna be making up a lot of shit. Alright. So we have a skull of a cat. So cats don't have that big of a muzzle. They also have a very big cavity for their eye socket. And their cheek tends to stick out a little bit. So we have that. Let's make doing a battle cry. So our jaw will be open. And then we're gonna have the backside of our head, which is gonna be where our ear goes. Then let's see, should we have his ear up? I don't know. Again, I don't know what Battle Beast look like, so I'm just gonna be guessing a lot. Animals don't have a chin, so you don't have to draw a chin when it comes down to animals. But in this case, he probably has a really big neck. Okay, this is gonna be where my eye is gonna be in roughly. Then I need my tussles. He has a mane, right? I'm guessing he's like a lion. So the mane is gonna go around his neck. It's gonna go around his ears. And honestly, I don't know what type of hair he has. So I'm gonna give him like K-pop star type of hair for his mane. I'm gonna give him some piercings, some inner hair for his tussles, and we go into the detail. Let's give him some larger fangs. Give him a battle scar. Give him smaller eyes to give him a little bit more comic bookish look. He looks like Elvis. Let's see, maybe the other side of his hair would be like looking in the wind. Like I said, we're doing like a K-pop, K-drama version of him. Battle Beast. If he was a K-pop star. Do, 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 do. Let's give him some hair. I know Battle Beast is white, so again, we talked about contrast, right? So if I want to make his skin white, what do I gotta do? I gotta make sure that all the thing around, like the mane and everything, has to be a different color. Even though technically the mane could be white, I guess, and just make the outside shapes colored. Yeah, that could work too. Do, 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 do. Close enough. All right, so our time, unfortunately, my friends, is up. No, Rod, don't leave us. No, we love you, Rod. No, Rod, no, have my babies. Oh, no, it's okay. Your mustachioed menace has to leave. I have to go do things like, I don't know, like eat and check emails because I just got an email from the Marvel people. So, I don't know. Maybe I got a new assignment. Maybe I get fired. Maybe nothing. Maybe something. Who knows? Emails just give me anxiety attacks. It's okay. It happens all the time. That's why I don't like checking emails. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. I'm not gonna get fired. I just met with them on Comic-Con. So anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Just like putting a little bit of drama in there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just keep you guys on your toes a little bit. All right. Love y'all. See you guys next time. Peace.